The banking system's looking really bad right now. I wonder how we can get everyone's attention off of that and onto something else. I know. Let's go arrest a former president. From Zero Hedge, let's get into the article. Over at Zero Hedge, it says Fed panics, announces coordinated daily U.S. dollar swap lines to ease banking crisis. Now, you guys remember, in videos past, I have told you that there are certain code words. Backstop, QE, liquidity pumping. There was one other one, too. I forgot what it was. There's lots of different code words they use to disguise what's really happening, and that's money printing. I have said before many times on this channel, starting at least over 2 years ago, that hyperinflation will be the end result of this. Hyperinflation. And there are people out there who say, no, Zach, it's going to be deflationary. Don't you see? We're experiencing a deflationary event. Yes. We are experiencing a deflationary event. It's exactly what is needed for them to get the money printers to go burr. Money printers go burr. All these code words are for money printers go burr. In January 2022, just around the time the Fed announced it was launching its most aggressive tightening campaign since Volcker, see, deflationary, we warned, remember, every Fed tightening cycle ends in disaster and then much more Fed easing. Easing, there's one of those fancy code words, the easing. What does easing mean? Money printer go burr. Continuing on, fast forward to just over a week ago when the Fed tightening cycle indeed ended in disaster when SIVB became the first of many banks to fail, triggering a chain of dominoes that culminated with today's collapse of Credit Suisse, a systematically important bank with $600 billion in assets. And then at 5 p.m., the easing. Again, remember that code word, money printer go burr, officially began because while a bunch of laughable macro tourists were arguing on FinTwit whether last week's record surge in the Fed's discount window was QE, again, another code word, QE for money printer go burr, or wasn't QE. Answer, it didn't matter because, as we said, it's assured what comes next. The Fed finally capitulated, just as we warned over and over and over that it would. It also seems like someone on this channel was saying that over and over and over again. Again, remember the analogy I gave in the other video. This is about a systemic bodily infection. What is the number one killer in hospitals? It's sepsis, infection. And once that gets started, it usually cannot be stopped without some sort of heavy, hard-hitting antibiotics. The only thing you have as an antibiotic here is absolute money printer go burr. That's it. And then the result is hyperinflation. See, you could avoid hyperinflation. I've said this before too. There's really two things you need to do. Stop printing money and stop spending money. If you did those two things, you wouldn't have hyperinflation, but we would have a complete and total deflationary depression, collapse, way worse than the 1920s, 1930s. It would be way worse. Okay? But you got to choose one or the other. You're either going to take the pain now and there's going to be complete total destruction, starvation, mass hysteria, or you're going to do it later. It's going to come on a little bit slower, but then faster as we get to that point, and you're going to have massive hyperinflation, starvation, complete and total chaos. Pick your poison. Take your medicine. You're going to get your medicine one way or the other because we have lived outside of our means. We wouldn't be here today in this spot if we didn't live outside of our means. Back to the article. If the Fed does not contain the regional bank collapse, there will be another Great Depression. The Fed either pivots too early and turns dovish into a high inflation scenario, which is fairly bearish, the US dollar thus helping gold, or they pivot too late and cause a much bigger recession than is priced in right now, resulting flight to safety helps gold. Either way it goes, if you're into gold, you're going to be better off at the end because it's going to be the only thing that's worth value. If you had gold in the 1930s, you had something of value. It was a depression, a deflationary depression. We all know throughout hyperinflations, the money's worthless. But if you've got gold, you've got value. You've got buying power. Same with silver. The Bank of Canada, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the European Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, and the Swiss National Bank are today, that's March 20th, Monday, today announcing a coordinated action to enhance the provision of liquidity. There's that buzzword again, one of those buzzwords, via the standing U.S. dollar liquidity swap line arrangements. The network of swap lines among these central banks is a set of available standing facilities and serve as an important liquidity backstop to ease strains in global funding markets. Do you see the code words? Money printer go burr. And once the USD swap lines are reopened, the rest of the cavalry follows. Rate cuts, QE, meaning the real stuff, money printer go burr, not that discount window nonsense, etc., etc. In fact, we have already seen a near record surge in reserve injections. Listen, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I think we can all agree, okay, that the markets are in trouble. The banks are in trouble. This is real. This is not in your imagination. This is actually happening. And the way they're going to solve this is massive money printing. Okay, that means hyperinflation. That's what's in your future. It's guaranteed. I've been saying it for a long time. Mathematical certainty. The cake is baked. Now, what can you do about it? Not a lot. They're going to try to distract you with Trump arrest and who knows what else, and because they know at some point, if they don't fix this, if they don't get a handle on this, the torches and pitchforks will be coming. And when a system collapses, also I've said on this channel, which seemed to be from the comments a pretty controversial remark or belief, is that if the system collapses, they're going to have a hard time controlling the masses. Because you can't control the masses when you can't pay your police, you can't pay your firefighters, you can't pay your public service workers and all these other people that are there that make our country move. How are you going to maintain control? Are you going to release the robots? Are you going to release those robotic dogs that you see sometimes on the internet that are like all jumping in unison or whatever that video was? Are you going to, how are you going to, this is all about control, Zach. It's all about control. How are they going to control us when you can't pay the people to control us? I'm gonna double down on this. I'm going to maintain my position that they can't implement some great reset if the system collapses and they have no way, because someone's got to enforce it. Someone has to be there to put the screws to the people who don't comply. Right? What we're witnessing one way or the other, no matter how you look at it, is a complete and total collapse of the system. That's what we're looking at. How it turns out from here, I don't know. I have no idea. All I can say is right now, if you're still in the city, if you're still in the suburbs, harden you yourself as a target. Again, food, water, have some preps. Think outside the box. Get out if you can. If not, harden yourself up as a target. Check out our seed collection. It's still available over at clearwatervalleyfarms.com. This entire seed collection can be yours right now. It's time for planting. Gardens is where it's at, and you need to be a producer. With all the stuff that's coming, you need to be a producer. So the seed collection, this includes the achicha cucumber and the popolo. The popolo, a lot of you guys like to grow cilantro, okay, in the summertime, but you know that cilantro bolts in the summertime. By the time your cilantro is bolting in the heat of July, this popolo, which also tastes just like cilantro, is about 5 feet high. And you can put it in your salsas, you can put it in your pico de gallo, and it tastes fantastic. It tastes very, very similar to cilantro. You're only going to be able to get it if you order this seed collection pack. Okay, that's a hard seed to find, folks. And they searched high and low for that seed. Amongst other ones, like the achicha cucumber. This is not the flat, or what's it called? The smooth achicha. This is the one that's got all the soft spikes on it. Really, really great conversation starter. And they're really delicious. They're great with ranch dressing, eating them fresh. All kinds of great different seeds on here, okay? The American Homestead Seed Collection. You can get it right now at clearwatervalleyfarms.com. Link in the description below. And they have all other kinds of seed options as well, and that you can pick up too for the spring. Get your gardens ready. Get them ready now. All right, guys. Hey, let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I think this whole thing with Trump, because listen, you're not going to put a former president in jail. You're not. This is all a distraction. They want to start a giant mess, is what I'm thinking. I don't know. Oh, listen, all you can do is, like I said before, sit back and watch and enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. All right, guys. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Alexander the Great. Did you know when he died, his body was placed in a coffin made of solid gold? Decades later, Ptolemy X and Cleopatra III stole the coffin and gold artifacts just so they could pay their war debts. Germany, at the time of World War II, stole all of the gold they could get their hands on, and much of it still today has not yet been accounted for. You see, all throughout history, when times get tough, people, either good or bad, seek real wealth. They turn to gold and silver. The central banks and Wall Street cheerleaders would have you believe that gold and silver are just shiny rocks with no real value. But did you know that central banks around the world have for the last year been buying record amounts of gold and silver for stockpiling? Stockpiling for what? What do they know that they're not telling us? Genesis Gold Group is a proud supporter of an American homestead. They help people get out of locked-in 401ks and IRAs into something that's real, physical gold and silver. If you're going to be locked into something, it might be a good idea to talk to Genesis Gold Group about being locked into something physically vaulted instead of just a piece of paper that at the end of the day is just that, a piece of paper. It's a clear surety that our economy is headed for turbulent waters. The nation is currently over $31 trillion in debt, and Congress keeps spending money and the Fed keeps printing it. That does not bode well for anyone keeping and saving money in savings accounts or paper-denominated assets. Call Genesis Gold Group today, this instant, or visit them online at genesisgoldgroup.com. They can put together a strategy that's right for you. And be sure to say that you heard about them from an American homestead.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.